Hi everyone, I want to have a conversation about fanfiction and adaptions and whether they're the same or they're different, and a couple of adaptions I've recently read. Now, I used to be on Wattpad many a year ago. I left because it was a cesspool of copyright violation. The problem I have with fanfiction is I fully understand there is a difference between taking a band like One Direction, BTS, etc., creating a story out of it. It's the taking of creations that already exist, whether it was Twilight at the time or whether it was Harry Potter or whether it's something else, and you take those characters and that world and everything someone else has created and you start making your own stories out of it. To me, that is theft. It's copyright theft. You are stealing someone else's creation to make something else out of it. You didn't ask permission, etc., etc. Now, in the world of copyright and the legality of copyright, fan fiction is murky. You know, the waters are murky around fan fiction as to whether it does actually rip off a person's copyright. So when it comes to adaptions, I'm in two minds, because on one hand it's the same as the fan fiction. You are taking someone else's creation, whether it's out of the realm of copyright or not, and then a free-for-all online, as Hardy Boys and now Nancy Drew soon will be, and Winnie the Pooh has been, and of course Winnie the Pooh was turned into a slasher film because of it. You know, a lot of things will now be out of copyright and be in public domain, and it will be as we move forward year after year. Unfortunately, that means people can then take it and make money out of it and put their own shit-ass cover on it, like I've seen with a lot of Edgar Allan Poe books. Shit-ass covers for this public domain work that they're trying to make money out of. I would rather troll through Amazon or eBay or wherever to find a properly printed, professionally printed, legally printed copy of Edgar Allan Poe or anybody else. And I still buy and collect Nancy Drews. But the original Nancy Drews are now coming into public domain as the Hardy Boys did. So it's a free-for-all. So when it comes to adaptions, on one hand, it's like fan fiction. You are taking someone else's creation and making a story out of it. However, because I've done a couple of adaptions of short stories myself, if you take minimal characters, say 3 to 5 characters from that work, maybe set it in the same place, but create an entirely new story out of it, it could pass as being legally okay. It would pass as me being okay with it, or, you know, depending on what your thoughts are on adaptions and fan fiction, or fanfiction as I call it, because so much of it is. And I've recently thought of this because I've read a couple of Christina Henry books. Now, I've read Horseman and Alice. Now, this book. After reading this, I reserved a couple of her other books from the library, so I've got quite a few coming. So she's done adaptions of different things. I've got like the Peter Pan one and the Mermaid one and a few others coming. This I actually really liked. Now, I don't recall word for word Sleepy Hollow. I used to watch the TV show. I know, I remember basics. I know it was in Sleepy Hollow, it was the Headless Horseman, this, that, the other. I think what she's done with this is actually pretty good. I'm actually considering buying this book. Now, I generally don't buy a lot of books, whether it's just my old Jackie Collins or Murder, She Wrote or whatever. I very rarely buy new books, but this is a book, and these are old, they're like 10 years old, that I'm actually considering buying because it was a good adaptation. Now, I bawled my eyes out because her grandparents died and her parents died when she was little, and then, you know, the whole bunch of stuff. But trying to remember from memory what the original story was about to how she's done it, I'd say she's changed enough of it to warrant it being considered a new book, a new story that she has created. But there is that thin line of, you know, with fan fiction and adaptions to whether it is copyright theft. So I'm still very wary about adaptions. I quite liked it. It was very different, and excuse me. And it was just like, crying, so different. So yeah, I would actually buy it. I would recommend if no one's read it. I really liked it. I'd give it 8 out of 10. I take 2 off a death. But this adaptation made me ick and gross inside. Now, we all know Lewis Carroll, real name Charles Dodgson, wrote it. 4 children. It's about a child, 4 children. And she's taken it and made it so disgusting that, well, I didn't want to vomit, but I wanted to... I really wonder why the publisher or her editor read this and went, oh, yeah, we're going to publish it. It's going to be great. What the fuck? What the fuck were you thinking in using the sex slave trade as the basis for your telling of Alice in Wonderland? What the fuck were you thinking, having Alice raped by the White Rabbit? I mean, what the actual fuck? It was disgusting. I don't want to read that. I don't even know whether these are considered young adult. The library's labelled it fantasy, and it probably is. Whether these are young adult, new adult, I don't know. But what the fuck? Why did you take a story written about a child for children? As we all know the story, if you've read books about Lewis Carroll, I've just received a couple today, just right now in the mail. But you have her raped and in an insane asylum. What the fuck? That was just so ick and disgusting. And she's in the asylum for 8 years in the old city when she was actually in the new city and lived there with her family. And then somehow her and Hatcher from the cell next door get out. They're in the old city. He makes his way to his grandmother's house. Along the way, she's nearly raped again. You know, she was 16 when it all happened. Now 24. Because she's been there for 8 years. And then on top of that, when they finally get to the White Rabbit, because they find the Cheshire Cat, he's a magician. They find the caterpillar, kill him, he's a magician. He's got sex slaves in his business, you know, with butterflies carved into their skin on their back. He's got a crippled butterfly, which is a woman that he's crippled the legs of, and then inserted wings into her back. And then he's got a mermaid that he got from Cheshire. So they kill the caterpillar. They kill the butterfly because she wants to die. The mermaid goes free, but she ends up back in the lake at Cheshire's house. They kill another rabbit kills the grinder, which becomes the walrus. What the fuck? And when they finally find the White Rabbit, because she all of this is memory to her, she realizes her best friend Dor, who wanted to celebrate her 16th birthday in the old city, sold her to the rabbit. The rabbit was going to sell her to the grinder, who became the walrus. And it's like, what the fuck? And they don't show the scene detail for detail, but it's enough of it to know that she stabs him in the back, and then stabs him in the eye, takes his eye out. She runs through the city, blood pouring out from between her legs, and her dress is ripped, and she's holding the knife with his eyeball on it, and then she collapses at the gate, and then she ends up in a fucking asylum for 8 years. I mean, what the fuck were you thinking as the author? What the fuck were you thinking as the editor and the publisher of this book? And there's a follow-up, which, yes, I have reserved, simply because I want to find out if Hatcher finds his daughter, 10-year-old who was sold into slavery, sex slavery. His wife, who used to be working for the White Rabbit, was also raped to death, basically. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, if this is for young adult, I'm flustered. If this is for young adult, what the fuck? Children, I would not let I wouldn't let a 10-year-old read this. I wouldn't let a 12-year-old read this. I probably wouldn't even let a 15-year-old read this. I mean, I'm 51 and a half, and I was ick and disgusted and grossed out on the inside. So, Christina Henry, not her real name, it's her pen name. Oh, what the fuck? So, when I get the Red Queen, I'll see what that's like and whether Hatcher gets his daughter back. The Looking Glass, which is the third one, is a series of novella stories. But, no. I wouldn't even recommend anyone read this. It's just gross. No. Ugh. No. And it's an adaptation. So there are good adaptions and really fucking bad adaptions. So I don't know whether this is a book review or a discussion about adaptions and fan fiction, but if you're going to trash a story like this, fuck off. Just fuck off and don't do it. And publishers, don't ever fucking publish shit like this again. This is fine. This is not. So when it comes to fan fiction, and do not steal someone else's story, whether it's in the public domain or not, and trash it the way you've done it. Tell a really good story. Don't fucking trash it with shit. Don't steal just the trash. Fan fiction and adaptions. Fucking hell.